If you've ever wondered what happens when a triathlete really gets their nutrition sorted, today's episode shows you exactly what's possible. Troy Bauerle is back on the podcast, but this time he's fresh out of the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program and has been putting everything that he's learned into practice so far. And the results, honestly, they speak for themselves. In March, Troy raced Geelong 17.3 and absolutely smashed it, finishing in 4 hours and 25 minutes and landing third in his age group. Then just a couple of weeks later, he backed it up with the Wollongong Olympic distance race with a 2 hours and 1 minute finish and another third place podium. So in today's episode, we're going to chat about what's changed for Troy since being inside the Academy program and how he's fueling smarter, recovering faster and not injured to see some of the results that match the effort that he's putting into training. This guy is a weapon if you follow him on Strava. We're going to talk some of the practical strategies that he's been doing, maybe even some of the mindset shifts for him and the confidence, and why nutrition is the missing link for so many triathletes that they just overlook that part of the triathlon puzzle. So if you're on the fence about whether nutrition really makes that big a difference, then this conversation might just tip you over the edge. Let's dive in. Welcome back, Troy.
Thanks, Taryn. Thank you for the introduction.
Last time we chatted back in episode 155, you were just 6 weeks into the TNA program. You were fresh meat and you just finished racing Long Course Worlds in like one of the fastest times I've ever seen somebody do that event, even though you only came sixth in your age group. So like absolute weapon. Fast forward to now though, you've just podiumed 2 big races back to back, Geelong 70.3 in March and then backing it up with the Wollongong Olympic distance race in April, both securing you a beautiful bronze medal. How are you feeling, Troy?
Feeling great. Yeah, everything's come together. I didn't expect the progression to be this much, but yeah, it's amazing. Love it.
Yes. What do you think has made that biggest difference then in those performances and how you're feeling?
I think being able to get a good solid base of training in without interruption through being able to keep fit, healthy. It's been a combination of everything all being put together, whereas before it was just training. Now with the nutrition side of it as well, on top of that, it's really made a massive difference.
Yeah, training availability is one of your key things to get fitter and faster, right? The more you can be consistent with training and back up blocks time after time without getting injured is where you're going to actually propel forwards. And as a fellow swimmer, running is always going to be the hardest and most injury prone. So for you, like when was the last time you were injured?
Yeah, at Townsville last year. So I just started this program, but since then I haven't had any niggles, any injuries. So being able to put in consistent training for 12 months whilst on this program has been amazing.
Wow, that's huge. And have you ever had a period of training availability that big?
I don't think so. No, I can't recall. There's always been something that pops up. For example, I just finished a 3-week block and I would like 20-hour weeks for 3 weeks. It's always a big block just before an event. Normally at the end of these big blocks that I do, I'm just about broken. I feel like I'm on the cusp of just something's going to break. Yep. This time, which it only finished last week, that block, I felt amazing. I felt like I could do another 3-week block.
Yes.
It was crazy.
That's what I call supercharged. Like now that you know what that feels like, I feel like that word just encompasses everything that you feel when you get your nutrition right.
One of the rides, I think I had to do a 4.5-hour ride and I ended up doing an extra half an hour because I felt good, which is like, that's just stupid. On the trainer.
Like, did you get in trouble for that?
No, it's all good. It was all just low endurance stuff.
Yeah, wow. Go, you good thing.
It was weird. I've never felt like that. Not on a trainer. Like you just want to get off it. But I was like, oh, geez, I feel good. Keep going.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
So now that you've finished the academy program, what are some of the things that you're doing differently with your nutrition, like before training, during training, after training, and even racing?
So now I'm my recovery, like we touched on, eating the right recovery food and knowing what to eat, when to eat, and even dialing in, like I've got shortcuts now. Like if I'm rushed for time, I know a quick way to do things if I'm not organised. Just having little hacks like that's been great. My fuel for racing that's been next level. Being able to carb load properly, that's been massive. That's life changer. And with my gels as well that I've been making, having the confidence to use them properly, and I've really dialed that in now, down to the gram. It's made such a massive difference on race day. It's incredible. And with training with that too, like now I can actually train properly, and my gut's now trained. Like I think we've brought it up to, well, it's nearly 115 grams now. So,
wow,
which is, that's gone up quite a bit. It's taken quite a while, but I've done it properly, and my gut handles it really well now. So it's awesome.
So good. So if you haven't listened to the previous episode I did with Troy a while back, or Troy is the example that I use for the guy that was making his own gels in training, but then racing with something different. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? And that was because he just didn't have confidence in his own homemade concoctions that now he's fully confident with. So he actually races and trains with the same thing. It's like a big light bulb moment.
Yeah, I remember telling you that, and you're like, why the hell wouldn't you use the same gels that you're training with? I'm like, well, they're only ones that I've made, so they're no good. And you're like, well, no, they're not.
Let's make them good.
Yeah. So, I'm a real chef now with that. I've got different flavors and try new flavors all the time in training. It's great.
I love it. And you need the drug dealer scales to be able to do that fine-tunedly as well. Yep.
Yeah, the scales are spot on. I've even got the scales, I've got the numbers. I took photos of the number it is on the scales, so I can go back and double check that it's right, so they all fit into the flask properly. And
I love it. I have to start like a Troy Bauerle production line. You black market them for people who don't know how to do it.
No, I'm just happy doing my own. That's fine.
No time for that.
Takes up enough time.
Is there any other examples like that you used to do before and you look back and you just makes you laugh looking back at that and going, why on earth was I doing this? That one's a great one. Anything else?
The carb loading one was the one I was doing completely wrong. Yeah, I laugh at that now because I thought I was doing the right thing, but it was completely the opposite of what I needed to be doing, and the difference it made was incredible. But yeah, that was a big one. Recovery fuel was big as well. Yeah, I wasn't doing anything, let alone in the right time frames. If I was eating something half okay, I wasn't doing it in the right time frames or anything like that. So that's been huge.
Yeah, you're not alone in not doing either of those things right. I find a lot of triathletes think that they do a good job of recovery and carb loading, and it's not until they get educated properly that like, oh man, I was so far off. And carb loading is one of those things that, I don't know, you can't Google a plan and follow a plan. You actually have to understand the science behind it and then build something that is custom and specific to you. And it is not just going nuts at the pasta party before your event. It actually needs to be way more strategic than that. I remember trying it for the first time with you at Townsville Long Course Worlds, and that was before we'd actually done that masterclass, and we fast-tracked you through that right in the beginning so that you could do that for that race. And like the look in your eyes and the feeling that you felt, you were like, oh my God, this is like rocket fuel.
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing with that is, so from that day that I tried that at Townsville, when I think I described it as waiting for that crash and it didn't come, I'm like, I can keep going here at what I was doing. I can probably go a little bit faster if I want. And every race, I felt exactly the same, but just upped it, got the confidence to go a little bit quicker. I think Geelong just recently, I took 6 minutes off my run time.
That's huge.
Off my fastest bike ever. So now, and still felt like negative split the run. So again, next race I'm feeling, okay, I can go a little bit quicker here. Just the confidence is growing and growing with that. It's been, game changer.
Yeah, and then that is a big shift, I think, having that confidence to push hard at the end when you're used to fading and used to dying in the ass. Like you're a great athlete and you're like get in the hurt locker and stay in the hurt locker and punish yourself type person. Can you talk a little bit more about that confidence and how getting your nutrition right has helped you to build that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, just having the confidence in my body that I'm not going to feel shit like with 6Ks to go. Whereas, now going, I can really push this, it's huge for my confidence. And seeing the results at the end of the day, makes my confidence even, more so for the next race. I think every race that I've done since being on this program, I've had PBs every race. Like it's just getting lower and lower and lower. I'm like, and the confidence grows more and more and more. And I'm like, well, where does this end? I'm really excited because it keeps you going. I was at the stage where I was looking for 1%ers, try and make things a little bit more aero or whatever. But this is like, I don't know what percentage it was for me, Geelong this year to last year. But it was like 9 minutes off.
Wow.
Which is, I thought, my aim was actually just to go under 4:30. That was the big, the next big thing to tick off. And I did that, by 5 minutes, which is, when I looked up at the clock, I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, so, I was super pumped.
We'll have to work out the percentage because that is big. And when you're a really high performing athlete, right? Like you're the pointy end of the field, you're on the podium and, chasing to win always. Troy doesn't race to not win. But, looking at those like tiny little 1%ers that might make tiny little gains to things and then like not even addressing nutrition, like at what point were you like, okay, I now need to work on my nutrition. This is the thing. Like what made you decide that was going to have the biggest impact?
Well, I didn't realise it was going to have a big impact. It was just a 1%er that I was looking for. And it's been more than that. That's for sure. Now that I'm actually going back, pulling up on races, from last year after doing a full year of this program, it's been, that's been being able to see it the most anyway. The percentage that I've lost in time is crazy.
And there's no ceiling yet. We're still chasing the
Well, that's the thing.
End. When does it ever end?
Yeah. So it keeps you excited. It keeps you motivated. I suppose when you reach that plateau, you sort of, just going to go out and do another race. But now it's still like, what can I do? Like, where can I go?
Where next?
So, it's exciting. When I first started, I was like, oh, top 20 would be nice, top 20. And now it's sort of, then it got to top 10. I was thinking, I thought, oh, top 5. I thought, never get on the podium. I couldn't see where I could drop that time. Like, how am I going to drop 9 minutes in a race just in 1 year? And it's happened. So, so just keep the goals, just the goalposts keep changing.
Oh, I love that. Geelong was the exact same course, exact same athlete. Did you have the same bike?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I did actually. Yep.
And so the only difference in that is nutrition.
The conditions were very similar. There were great conditions. Yeah, it's great.
So you train hard, like you're doing a lot of hours, plus you also have a very demanding job. You're a plumber by trade. You've already worked for multiple hours this morning on the weekend. How has your energy on a daily basis and recovery changed to help support, heavy workload at work and then doing a lot of training outside of that?
Yeah, well, normal now is just feeling good. Like normal before was getting home from work, try not to fall asleep on the couch, just get into training straight away so I didn't fall asleep. But now feeling good is just normal. And the thing is too, if I don't feel good, what's wrong? Something's wrong. Yeah, it's just become normal. Just feel good all the time.
That's so good. And good that you can dial in and fine tune it too if you're starting to feel a bit like, what sort of things do you do to change that or pull yourself out of that so that you're not feeling like that for long?
I know that I need a hit of, what food I need, if I need some more carbs or whatever, or if I do feel that way, I know that I've, missed out on something during the day, like I've missed lunch, or you notice the difference. Now I've got little hacks that I can, if I am not organised and miss lunch or whatever, I've got little hacks, little supplies that I've got that gives me a quick hit, because I get home and have a big training session. So I need to keep those energy levels up.
Well, you've just done Cairns 70.3, three big races in a row. What was your focus heading into that race? And did you do anything differently this time around for this preparation block?
Not so much anything differently. Differently as in the training has been the same. But the training block leading into it has been just different from a consistency perspective. I think last year I didn't even train. I couldn't run before Cairns because I had a stress fracture. So this year having that training block, that's probably been the biggest thing. Consistency
in that block so you can actually build and peak and have that flow rather than being interrupted.
Yes, yeah, that's been huge. I haven't had any interruptions. I pretty much after Geelong went straight into Wollongong. Wollongong didn't stop training through that. Normally I have like a week off or something, but it was like, no, I feel great, so let's just keep going. And Geelong was the same, didn't stop, just kept going through because it felt great. So
wow,
that's been a game changer, definitely.
And you've obviously tapered for Cairns because it's your A race for the year.
My taper started earlier than normal, which normally I'm putting that to obviously having that big, being able to complete that big block. I've got a bit longer of a taper, so it's great.
And did you do a reverse taper or just a longer extended taper?
Just a longer extended taper, yeah.
How'd you go mentally with that?
I hate it. Yeah. Especially now, like I used to love rest days. Can relax and, do nothing or whatever. But now I'm like just walking up and down pacing up and down the house.
Too much energy to burn.
It's not great. Like I need to do something else, but it's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to.
Maybe you need to pick up another hobby in those periods of time, like start knitting or puzzling or build something with your hands. Keep yourself entertained. Yeah.
No, I felt it the most with the lead up to Cairns with the taper. That's the worst I've felt for, having so much energy, needing to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And those, when I just started doing like a rest day, I was just so looking forward to, even if it was just a little bike ride the next day, it sort of made me feel normal again. Just get rid of some energy.
Yeah. Well, what are we going to do with you? We can't have that happening every time you taper. We need to come up with some sort of taper strategy so you're not jumping out of your skin.
I don't know what to do.
Did you have any hobbies before triathlon?
No. I played team sport, so that took up my time.
Do some cooking.
No.
Do some home maintenance.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
That never-ending adulting list that you just never get to the bottom of.
I never get it done.
I hate that list.
Yeah.
So the big goal for you, I think it's kind of public knowledge now. It was a little bit on the DL last year when we spoke, but it's a bit more out there now, is that your big goal is to complete a full distance event for your 50th in a year or two.
Yep. Just turned 40. Yeah.
How are you feeling about tackling the marathon now that you've got like a solid base of fueling knowledge and you can piece together big blocks of training?
Yeah, I know I can do it now. I was shit scared because it's obviously the natural progression and everyone keeps asking when you're going to do the Ironman, when are you doing the Ironman?
So annoying.
It is. And yeah, it's always in the back of your mind, but now I'm confident that yeah, I can't wait to do this now. Yeah, the run was always going to be a massive issue, but now I'm confident I'll get off the bike feeling fine, that I can do it. I'll know that I'll be able to put a solid training block together, look after myself, and smash it.
What's been your longest run you've ever done?
At 30 Ks at the Worlds.
Yep. And in training, have you ever run at close to a marathon?
No. I think the longest training run I've ever done is like 22 or 3 Ks.
There you go. Well, with, good preparation and some strength training and lots of run focus for the next 2 years, I have no doubt you go out there and smash that.
Yeah, that's the hard bit. I never wanted to do one because I was worried about having a really bad time. So, that's just the way I think. But now I'm confident I can, if I have a good race, besides anything else that goes wrong, I can put together a good time and have a good race.
And what about beyond that? Have you got any aspirations to go to Kona, do Ultraman, do some crazy off-road racing? Like there is no ceiling for you, Troy. So let me pick your brain. What are you aiming for?
Well, maybe Ultraman's been in my thoughts just a little bit. I always had it there after a mate did it back in 21, I think it was. Yeah, and seeing Leanne from the program do it this year, and yeah, got a bit of FOMO there. So yeah, I think that's definitely something that's on the radar. Kona, I don't know, with Kona, that sort of thing, it's so expensive.
Mm.
That's probably the thing that'll keep me away from there, but we'll see.
What if you got a spot? What if you got a spot for Kona?
Don't know. I don't know. I haven't thought that far in advance.
Okay, one step at a time.
One race at a time.
And I have no doubt that you wouldn't smash Ultraman. I think, it's perfectly designed for you for the first 2 days at least, like big swim and then, good solid riding. It would just be the double marathon that you'd need to, like in your focus block for Ironman, be really focusing on run and strength to get you through that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I'm confident that I could do it. So,
which is so interesting because you weren't confident in that before. So that's a big mindset shift for you.
I wasn't confident in running a marathon before, and now we're talking maybe double.
Yeah.
It's funny how you change.
Is that just a difference in having confidence in your nutrition?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said before, it's a combination of everything. Everything's just snowballing together. You sort of can't have one without the other. I can have good nutrition and not train and be no good. I'd be healthy and in life, or vice versa. But put them all together, and yeah, things are on a good trajectory.
What would you say to somebody then that's training really hard but hasn't yet invested in their nutrition? Is there anything you would tell, old Troy before TNA?
You got to get the most out of it. Like I said, yeah, you got to combine the two. There's no point doing one or the other. They need to go hand in hand. And yeah, I don't know where I would have been. I probably would have plateaued by now if I hadn't have done this, but still on that, still getting faster and faster, and which is just incredible. I thought as you get older, you're going to get slower and slower, but it's going the other way. So yeah, that's incredible.
No midlife crisis for you?
No, not yet.
Not yet anyway. Oh, Troy, it's been so good having you back on the podcast to share your journey from we talked to you right in the beginning where you were, fresh and green, and now you've come all the way out the other side, and to see you just go from strength to strength has been amazing. You've come so far since we last spoke, and I know that this is honestly like you're just scratching the surface, and this is just the beginning for you.
Let's hope so. Thank you.
So if you've been listening along thinking, man, I train so hard like Troy too, maybe you do 20 hours a week in big blocks or maybe even half of that. But if you're not getting the results that you feel like you should be, then maybe it's time to actually tackle your nutrition and do that properly. And that's exactly what we do inside the Triathlon Nutrition Academy program. It's not about cutting carbs, counting calories, or having to track everything day in, day out. Troy has got no time for that. He just eats and knows how to eat, and then also how to fix things or plan Bs if life throws you curveballs. So it's about fueling smarter so you can train harder and recover fast to back up quickly and perform to the best of your ability on race day. So if you want to come and join us, doors are opening soon, and you can register your interest at dietitianapproved.com/academy. I would love to help you smash it, as long as maybe you're not in Troy's age group. That'd be good. Nobody in the 45 to 49 age group, Troy?
Yeah, that's fine.
Highly competitive you are. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Troy. I look forward to seeing how you go in the future.
Thank you.